So hey hello all, welcome to Sam's Books Review. Today I'm gonna review the book named The Path of Daggers. It is the 8th book of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I do completed the book just right now and I'm really very excited to share my thoughts. So let's get into it. The story of this book. This incident took place after Rand killed Samuel and taking Elian under his control, and Egan is still been heading off to the White Tower in order to bring down Elida and raise herself as the Amiral seat. And Perrin is there in Kialden and he got a need to deal with Massima Dagger and take him to Randall Thor. And we are still not sure what is the current status of Matt. Last time he's been there in the battle when Siachan does captured Ebodor. We got a need to know about him in this book. And Elaine, Nynaeve, and Avita does used the bowl of winds in order to change the weather. So yeah, that's how the plot moves on. And my overall experience in this book is again a pretty disappointing. I didn't expect anything spectacular about this book. I do know already this book does have a slog. I some kind of used to it, but still I would term this book as a disappointment to me. Let me elaborate that on the spoiler-free review. So let's move on into that. So, what happened in this book? There are a lot of things that does happen in this book, but at the very end, it all felt like nothing. This book is only about the characters being moving on from one place to the another. They didn't actually get involved in any of the activities here. Other than Randall Thor, none of the characters does have a compelling plot here. Be it Nynaeve, Elaine, and Aviatha, they just used the bowl of winds and evading the Sianchan army. They just enter into the camp. That's all right. And taking a Perrin, he is there in the Gialden by the starting of this book and made some political decisions and having a nudging relationship with the file. That's all about him here. And there is nothing spectacular about him in this book. And Igbin is still been marching on to the White Tower. Uh, so yeah, none of the characters doesn't have any progress. The plot is somewhat stagnation. So yeah, I'm somewhat really very disappointed about this book. But yeah, good plot is not necessary to write a good book, right? I do love the Blade itself and the Before Their Hand. In case if you don't know, these are the first two books of the Joe Abercrombie's first law trilogy. I do really love this book. By the very end of both these books, I do felt like there is nothing happened here. There is no progress in the plot, but still, all these characters are very compelling, and it is really very nice to know about all these characters and having a good dialogues and having a good humor in the conversation. All these things does flourished the Blade itself and the Before Their Hand book on the whole next level. But Robert Jordan is somewhat uh, not good in all these categories. So a good plot is necessary for the Wheel of Time series. So yeah, I do felt somewhat disappointed with this book. I don't think there is any need for this book to be written in 550 pages. All these things can be conveyed in a max of 200 pages. I do think so. And yeah, that's all the spoiler free review. And I would rate this book 2 out of 5. Yes, I do rank this book somewhat higher than the Crown of Swords. Even though there is no progress in the plot, I didn't hate any of the characters for their activities. By the Crown of Swords, we can see Rand and Matt does making many stupid decisions and can't able to think of anything beyond their woman. So yeah, all these things made me somewhat hate these characters in the Crown of Swords. But here, Robert Jordan does justice to all these characters. But still, there is no progress in the plot. We can't take that. So yeah, that's the review. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Now let's get into the spoiler talk. First of all, I got a need to talk about the Ball of Winds. Everything revolved around Nynaeve and Elena for the past two books has been only about the Ball of Winds, right? And they have finally used this Telangriel and they just changed the weather. Nothing spectacular. I do expected something more about this Telangriel. Something big is gonna happen by the usage of this, but just turning the weather I am extremely disappointed about this plot. I don't know whether this bowl of beans is going to have any huge impact in the future events of the book, but for now I am extremely disappointed about this plot. And the three girls, Naini, Elena, Navyata, decisions to leave Matt and Epudar is somewhat really very decisive to note. And Morden's characters is somewhat really very fascinating. He's been only there in the 5 pages of this book, but he's really very fascinating to watch. It is always eager to know which side he has been on, whether he is pure or whether he has been evil. And Egwene is been still marching on to the White Tower, and finally they do reach the Tarvalan. I hope the battle is gonna take place by the very starting of the Winter Heart. So yeah, eagerly looking about her character too, and she's somewhat really very smart here. She does convince all the sitters in the Icedas group that she is the one who was gonna take all the decisions revolving Randall, Thor, and the Tarmangaiden, right? That is a super smart move, and I do love her character. After Perrin, she is my favorite character by now, and Perrin plot does ended up in a really very high note, and uh, Masima Dagger plotting out with the Sian Chen or me is somewhat really very fascinating. What is going to happen to Perrin in the future events of the book? There is a tension being there in this book. So yeah, eagerly looking upon his character in the future events. And Morges is also captured here. And Rand taking on all the Sian Chen army. The battle is somewhat super cool, but I do felt that the battle is somewhat really very unnecessary, because we all do know that Sian Chen is going to be there in the very end of the memory of light, right? Because there is a lot of emphasis being given among these elements. So yeah, we do somewhat know that the Sian Chen army are going to retrieve back somehow in the future events. So all these things made the battle somewhat really very unnecessary. And Rand and Min's relationship is somewhat super cool in this book, and eagerly looking forward to their relationship in the future events. And Rand is somewhat getting a hard time with all the Ashamen, right? With Masrim Tain and Logan being already there in the Black Tower. Um, it is really very fascinating to note all the things gonna be turned around in the future books. So eagerly looking upon all these things. So yeah, that's all I can talk about. And I have a little confusion on Asmodean's death. So I do posted this on a Reddit page, and there are many fans who are eager to help me out there. So I'm really very somewhat thankful to this whole fan community. This is super awesome. If you are reading Wheel of Time without any help, I do recommend you to join the Reddit fan page. I will post that link in the description. So yeah, that's all about this video. I hope you guys watched and enjoyed this completely. So yeah, you can able to check out my previous video right here. Stay tuned. So until then, tata bye bye. I will meet you next week with some other book reviews. Tata bye bye.